African Americans also made up a large portion of the hotel's seasonal staff, but they spent their time elsewhere. The Continental, including its beachfront, was a whites-only resort. Flagler permitted his black employees to use the shoreline north of the Continental and the surrounding land holdings, and this marked the beginning of Manhattan Beach. To give you an idea of what this area was like at the time, it was nothing like it is today. There were no roads from Jacksonville out here to the beach. Atlantic Boulevard did not exist until 1910, and even then it was a very crude brick road. And even in 1910, Atlantic Beach had fewer than 100 permanent residents. It was a rural existence outside of the confines of the Continental's acreage. Manhattan Beach in the interior was the land of palmettos, scrub pines, and mosquitoes. Steve Keeling, who was born in 1896, recalled moving to Atlantic Beach in his words, "Daddy and we lived in a palmetto shack right over there in Atlantic Beach, and he got a job when they started building that Continental Hotel. He got a job as a night watchman there. When I was a little boy, we had a horse and wagon, and we used to go over there at night and take him something to eat. Going back home one night, a panther tried to get in the wagon with us." And when Keeling was in his late teens, he worked for Patrick Ice Company. "I'd work all day and go down there to Manhattan Beach and lay out on the beach all night," he said. But less than 20 miles inland, it was a much different scene. Jacksonville's population measured more than 28,000 in 1900, 57% black and 42% white. By 1910, the population had more than doubled, with blacks still comprising about 50% of the total. When Manhattan Beach became an official stop on Flagler's rail line in June of 1907, there was no shortage of customers. Marcia Dean Phelps wrote, "Many times I sat on Big Mama Agnes Cobb's front porch shelling black-eyed peas, listening to her tell of the long-ago junkets that she, Grandpa Randall, and their 6 children relished on Manhattan Beach. From Jacksonville, the 40-mile round trip cost adults 60 cents, and I had trouble believing Big Mama when she said that on these trains, which left very early in the morning and returned home at dark, black people rode in the front cars and whites rode in the cars at the end, until my mama explained that the soot, cinders, and smoke from the train's engines blew back and settled heaviest on the cars closest to the engine. Before the train reached the beach, according to Aunt Annie Bell, everyone's clothes were covered in soot." But that wasn't a deterrent, and Manhattan Beach became a popular destination for black church congregations, family day trips, and for friends spending time with friends. Manhattan Beach figured prominently into the life work of Eartha White, founder of the Clara White Mission. Technical difficulties. There she is. Eartha White, founder of the Clara White Mission. She is pictured here in the front row in the center. And she's pictured here with delegates from the City Federation of Colored Women's Club in 1915, and she was a part of that club herself. She is often referred to as the Angel of Mercy by those she ministered to and those who supported her mission. And Eartha White started her colored old folks home in 1901, but she expanded to also provide a hospital, a halfway house for inmates transitioning into society, an orphanage for African American children, and spearheaded campaigns to feed undernourished school children. She captured her mission in one sentence: "We do for humanity what the Salvation Army is doing for white people." As part of this mission, that's a very powerful statement. As part of this mission, Eartha White often brought the elderly, orphaned, and undernourished to Manhattan Beach. Oftentimes, she was able to negotiate free transportation with the FEC Railway. Seen here is her first fresh air camp. 86 children suspected of having tuberculosis spent 4 weeks in this tent city being tended to by nurses and doctors from in town. Potential donors visited Fresh Air Camp at Manhattan Beach and remarked, "I visited the health camp and found children happy, singing their songs. They were very happy. I was highly pleased with what I saw at Open Air Camp at Manhattan Beach, and I trust it will be firmly established," and this donor donated 25 cents. "I visited the health camp, found children happy and listening to stories. A wonderful work is being done here." Eartha White's Milk Fund Committee, whose motto was, "A pint a day keeps disease away," provided daily nourishment for these children. Lewis Flemings, Thomasina Cook, Matthew and Isaac Fitzgerald, Grace Payne. These are just some of the names of the children who were given hope through the Milk Fund and the Fresh Air Camp at Manhattan Beach. And this is precisely what I mean when I say Manhattan Beach is more than a lost landmark. It surely is that. But when you say, and when I say lost landmark, and you enshroud it with this sense of mystery, it can overshadow the stories of the people who lived this history. Yes, Flagler was largely responsible for Manhattan Beach's creation, but he did not make Manhattan Beach what it was. Agnes Cobb made Manhattan Beach what it was. Eartha White, these children, and the many others for which Manhattan Beach was the only place they could dip their toes in the ocean. They made Manhattan Beach what it was. The miners from Mineral City and the laborers who built A1A with the McCormick family business. Manhattan Beach was a vibrant community. Mac Wilson owned and operated a pavilion and bathhouse that provided accommodations, dining, and entertainment. And this photograph was taken in 1927. William Middleton also operated a pavilion. His included a boardwalk that offered beachgoers respite from the sun, and this was taken in 1920. Manhattan Beach became even more important to the African American community as neighboring cities put explicit segregation laws on the books. Section 103 of Pablo Beach's 1924 Charter and Ordinances stated, "It shall be unlawful for any white person or persons to bathe together with any Negro person or persons, or for any Negro person or persons to bathe together with any white person or persons in the waters of the Atlantic Ocean within the limits of the city of Pablo Beach." At one point in time, there was an effort on the part of the Manhattan Beach Amusement Corporation to solicit African American investors to fund a larger scale boardwalk area. And this undated brochure reads, "The colored race of today has no opportunity or place to relax and enjoy the beach. The only beach property and park that is available is known as Manhattan Beach. Up to this time, no effort or expense has been spent to build or operate an amusement park of the better class, where each wife and mother can expect the courtesy and consideration to which they are entitled. To my knowledge, this grand amusement park never materialized." And the African American community had several forces working against them, forces that eventually hastened the end of Manhattan Beach. African Americans were able to purchase property in Manhattan Beach from Flagler's Florida East Coast Railway and its subsidiaries in the early 1910s. No doubt this was part of Flagler's effort to recoup the lost revenue, as the Continental Hotel had posted losses year after year. Around 1915, that all changed. Harcourt Bull Sr., a wealthy New York lawyer and venture capitalist, acquired large tracts of land in Atlantic Beach, including portions of Manhattan Beach, as part of a bankruptcy settlement. He, like Flagler, had a vision to make Atlantic Beach a bustling resort community, and he formed the RCBS Corporation with 3 other local businessmen, with Bull and William Rogers being the managing partners. It became their policy then not to sell to African Americans, only rent to them. And it was written into the rental agreements that RCBS Corporation would get a cut of any profit made by an African American business on company-owned property. This made it impossible for African Americans to own a contiguous piece of coastal property in Manhattan Beach. Erosion was also a play, and I know we've seen this slide before, but it gives you a good idea of how erosion played a part in the demise of Manhattan Beach. You can see how steeply that drops off, and it was a constant battle with erosion on the beachfront there. But adding insult to injury, the FEC ceased rail service to the beach in 1932, and this brought an end to family traditions of round-trip train rides to the beach. The final blow came in 1942 when the Army Corps of Engineers leased nearly 150 acres of land off Plaza in Atlantic Beach to construct a combat team camp, and this was part of their coastal defense program during World War II. They leased an additional 28 acres from the RCBS Corporation in Manhattan Beach and developed it for the positioning of a 4-gun artillery battery. However, on a positive note, the fifth factor that led to the demise of Manhattan Beach was the rise of American Beach. American Beach was founded in 1935 in the Amelia Island area by A.L. Lewis, a wealthy African-American businessman and president of the Afro-American Life Insurance Company based out of downtown Jacksonville. He bought property that consisted of 200 acres, and this was entirely Black-owned coastal property. The advertisements for American Beach used the phrase relaxation and recreation without humiliation. And this historical marker stands to commemorate the importance of American Beach in our collective history. And I believe, and I know my colleagues here at the museum agree, that Manhattan Beach should have a similar historical marker shining a spotlight on this little known but very important piece of history. And there you have it, folks. I'm going to open it up to question and answer, and preface that by saying I will do my best to answer the questions. So I'll start in the back there.
Why do they call it Manhattan?
That's a good question, and that is something she asked. Why do they call it Manhattan Beach? I did not come across anything in my research that said, I want to name this Manhattan Beach and this is why. I was hoping to find something like that. And if anyone else in here knows why they called it Manhattan Beach, please tell me. But what I think is that during that time, it was popular when you were, I think I lost, sorry, I was looking at this for okay. It was popular for when you were founding a new city or a new area that you would name it after another city that was already popular. And so it wasn't uncommon to hear city names, urban areas reused in a burgeoning, area. So that's my best guess at this moment. But it's, yes. Henry Flagler did live in Manhattan, so I'm hesitant to say that he just said, I lived in Manhattan, and so I think I'm here, and now I'm going to name this Manhattan Beach. But it's plausible, and it does fit with the idea that, the recycling of names of successful cities. So, Reggie in the back.
So, I know that the museum has put out a writ that says that we're going to have something for the Continental Hotel.
Yes.
Is there any movement towards getting a sign like that one
There is.
for Manhattan Beach?
Yes, and so Reggie is referring to the Continental Hotel that I referenced in my talk just a few minutes ago, and we are nearing the end of that process. We have the marker in our possession, and we are going to install it. And that was a wonderful relationship with the Cloisters, and So I don't know if we have a date for that we want to announce.
I can't believe I forgot this on my listing of events, but we will unveil the new historic marker on September 14th in the evening, so look out for information.
Save the date, September 14th. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there is, we have started that process. We're in the very early stages, but I've learned tonight that Hannah Park is ready and excited and they want to partner with us and make this happen. And so that's exciting. So yes, hopefully Manhattan Beach historical marker coming to Manhattan Beach near you soon. Yes.
I'm a little confused about where exactly Manhattan Beach would be.
Okay.
I was standing today where Manhattan Beach was, my back was to the ocean for what I could see.
You would be looking at Hannah Park.
Okay, so Hannah Park and
Hannah Park completely envelops what was Manhattan Beach. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Has your research taken you along the course of locating other African American beaches?